What if the reason you can't find peace is because you've been looking for it in the wrong place? You think you'll finally feel peaceful when you have more money, when the relationship gets better, when the problems disappear, when people respect you, when your career takes off, when your future is secure. So you keep chasing. More success, more control, more certainty. But here's the problem. The more you try to control everything outside of you, the more chaotic your mind can become. And what if peace isn't the absence of problems? What if peace is the ability to remain grounded, even when life isn't going according to plan? Today, we're going inside the psychology of inner peace. We'll explore why your mind struggles to be still, why you keep overthinking things you can't control, and how you can begin building a calmer mind. Because peace isn't something you find, it's something you practice. 1. Why your mind won't stop. Have you ever been physically exhausted, but your mind refuses to shut down? You're lying in bed. The room is quiet, but your brain starts replaying conversations. What did they mean by that? What if something goes wrong? Did I make the right decision? What happens next? Suddenly, you're fighting battles that aren't even happening. This is one reason inner peace can feel so difficult. Your brain is designed to notice potential problems. It's constantly scanning for threats, uncertainty, and things that need your attention. That's useful when there's an actual danger. But modern life gives your brain an endless supply of things to worry about. Messages, deadlines, money, relationships, news, social media, your future. And because many of these problems don't have immediate solutions, your mind keeps returning to them. You think you're solving the problem, but sometimes you're simply rehearsing the anxiety. There's a powerful difference between thinking about a problem and overthinking a problem. Thinking asks, what can I do? Overthinking asks, what if? What if? What if? And eventually, you become exhausted without actually moving forward. Inner peace begins when you learn to recognize the difference. 2. You can't control everything. Here's one of the hardest psychological lessons to accept. You are not in control of everything that happens to you. You can't control what people think. You can't control whether someone likes you. You can't control the past. You can't control the economy. You can't control every outcome. You can't even control what happens tomorrow. But you can control your response. And this distinction can completely change your mental life. Imagine someone insults you. You can spend the next 6 hours thinking about it. You can replay their words. You can imagine what you should have said. You can become angry all over again. But the insult has already happened. The only thing still happening is your mind continuing the event. That's where acceptance becomes powerful. Acceptance doesn't mean, I like what happened. It means, this happened. I cannot change it. What can I do now? That question takes you out of the past and brings you back into the present. You don't need control over everything to have peace. You need clarity about what is yours to control. Your actions, your choices, your attention, your response. That's where your power lives. 3. Stop arguing with reality. One of the biggest sources of suffering is constantly arguing with reality. You tell yourself, this shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't have treated me that way. I should be further ahead. My life should look different. And sometimes, you're right. Things shouldn't have happened that way. People shouldn't have treated you badly. Life isn't always fair. But reality doesn't change because you dislike it. And every time you mentally argue with something that has already happened, you create another layer of suffering. Think about getting stuck in traffic. You can't move. You're already late, and now you're angry. You think, this is ridiculous. This always happens. Why me? But the traffic doesn't care. Your anger doesn't move the cars. It only adds suffering to an already frustrating situation. Inner peace doesn't mean you never experience frustration. It means you stop adding unnecessary suffering to unavoidable circumstances. The question changes from, why is this happening to me? To, how do I want to respond to this? That is where emotional freedom begins. 4. The power of letting go. Sometimes peace requires something that feels almost impossible. Letting go. Letting go of resentment. Letting go of the need to be understood. Letting go of the person who hurt you. Letting go of an old version of yourself. Letting go of the future you thought you were going to have. And here's something important. Letting go doesn't mean saying, what happened was okay. It means, I refuse to let what happened control the rest of my life. You can remember something without reliving it. You can learn from the past without living in it. You can forgive someone without inviting them back into your life. You can accept that something ended without deciding that your life ended with it. Sometimes we hold on to anger because we believe it protects us. But carrying resentment is like drinking poison and hoping someone else gets sick. The person you're angry with may have moved on. Meanwhile, you're still carrying the weight. Letting go isn't weakness. Sometimes, letting go is the strongest thing you can do. 5. Stop needing everyone's approval. Here's another enemy of inner peace, the need to be liked. Think about how much mental energy people spend worrying about other people's opinions. Did they like what I said? Do they think I'm successful? What will people think? Why didn't they respond? Why did they unfollow me? Your mind becomes a courtroom, and everyone else becomes the judge. But here's the truth. You cannot build a peaceful life while allowing everyone else's opinion to control your identity. Someone will misunderstand you. Someone won't like you. Someone will criticize you. Someone will disagree with you. That's life. You can spend your entire existence trying to avoid judgment and still be judged. So instead of asking, does everyone approve of me? Ask, do I respect the way I'm living? That's a much more powerful question, because peace comes from living according to your values, not constantly adjusting yourself to satisfy everyone else. You don't need universal approval. You need inner alignment. 6. Learn to live in the present. Here's something strange about the human mind. Your body can be sitting in one room, while your mind is living in 10 different places. Your body is here, but your thoughts are in yesterday, or next month, or 5 years from now. And that's where anxiety often lives, in a future that hasn't happened yet. Your mind creates imaginary scenarios, then reacts to them as though they're real. But right now, you're breathing. You're here. This moment is actually happening. And learning to return to the present is one of the simplest ways to create more mental space. Look around you. Notice what you can see. Notice what you can hear. Take a slow breath. Feel your feet on the ground. You don't need to solve your entire future in this moment. You only need to be present for the moment you're actually living. Because life isn't experienced 5 years from now. It's experienced right here. 7. Peace is a practice. Here's the biggest misconception about inner peace. People think peaceful people have peaceful lives. Not necessarily. Some of the most peaceful people still have problems. They still experience loss, stress, disappointment, uncertainty. The difference is how they relate to those experiences. Peace is not a personality trait. It's a practice. You practice pausing before reacting. You practice accepting what you can't control. You practice protecting your attention. You practice letting go. You practice saying no. You practice spending time alone without needing constant stimulation. You practice focusing on what actually matters. And every time you do this, you're training your mind. Just like physical strength develops through repetition, mental peace develops through repeated choices. So if your life feels chaotic right now, don't immediately assume you need to change everything. Maybe start by changing the relationship you have with your thoughts. You don't have to believe every thought you think. You don't have to solve every problem today. You don't have to control every outcome. You don't have to make everyone understand you, and you don't have to carry yesterday into tomorrow. Sometimes peace begins with a very simple decision. I will deal with what is in front of me and let go of what isn't mine to control. Your life may never become completely quiet. There will always be problems. There will always be uncertainty. There will always be things you can't control. But you can build a mind that doesn't collapse every time life becomes difficult. And perhaps that's what inner peace really is. Not a life without storms, but the ability to remain steady while the storm passes. This is explained by Leo. Don't just accept the story, understand it, and remember, you don't find inner peace by controlling the world around you. You find it by learning to master the world within you.